I'm doing what you should be doing. I'm sharing and tagging. So share and tag. Don't just share. Boom, do-do-doo, do-do-doo. Poo-do-doo, ching, 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 boom, ching, 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 ping, ching, ching, ping, ping, ch. Boom, 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 boom. I hit post. Hello, how are you all doing? I have shared. Go ahead and share. I know some of you all don't know what this is for real, but go ahead and share anyway and tag some of your friends. You saw what the title is. Let's go with this. Welcome to Leadership Live with Dr. Renita and Friends 2022. And I'm so excited to be here another week. So, look, back in 2019, I did this completely by myself. 52 weeks was great. 2021, I did it with 54 guests in 49 weeks. Boom. 2022, we're here again. And this year, we're doing something a little bit different. We're not trying to have a different guest every week because we're taking subjects and we are delving deep into them. So each month, one guest, unless we have like some surprise people, because I'll do a surprise, honey. Why not? It's wonderful. But what is Leadership Live? It's a sharing of journeys. It's all about that whole idea of learning from other people's journey, learning from other people's lessons that they've learned, so that you don't trip up over the same things, or so you just have the life hacks for stuff. And life hacks for leadership is a wonderful thing because we always want to take things to the next level. And I know you're like, some of y'all like, lady, who are you? Well, I am Dr. Renita L. Webb. I'm an educational leadership strategist, which simply means I love to work with growing and aspiring leaders to become more authentic in their leadership, empower their fellowship, and at the end of the day, have a greater impact on the world. I am also a wife and mother of 4. I am currently Michelle Morris in Dreamgirls at the Community Theater of Greensboro. We have a run going right now, all sold out shows, but I'll tell you a secret. If we add a show, I'll tell you about it. I will. But I hope it doesn't sell out before you know. But I am also the authoress of While You Are Sleeping, the Perfect Children of All Ages group book, as well as Stepmom Trials, Tribulations, and Triumphs, because that's my story. Look, I birthed 2 kids and I love 2 kids really, really good. And they are all my children. And it's quite a journey. And I give you the real, honey. I'm not playing any games. We do it real, but we do it through godly principles. I am also the founder of The Refining Life, a 501c3 nonprofit organization whose mission is to provide you with experiences to have your mindset shifted so that you can lead a more positive and productive life. And most recently, I became the editor-in-chief and founder of Lead Like You magazine. If you go to leadlikeyoumag.com, you can see all of them. And the 3rd and 4th issues are getting ready to go into print right now. So if you want to get your print copies, you can. The 1st and 2nd are already available, but the 3rd and 4th are getting ready to go live. So all of that being said, I'm also a pageant queen. I do all the things thanks to my daughter. She keeps me rolling. And speaking of my daughter, that's part of the reason why the subject matter is reaching so close to home, because I got a kid who does it all. Anybody out there have a kid who does more things than you thought you could handle? I have one. And don't mess around and have 2 or 3. My, your life is rolling. But we have, like I said, some life hacks for you tonight. So I'm getting ready to bring into the room a beautiful, amazing, talented, phenomenal, like she might be a superwoman. Hello, somebody. Not that we want to be that, but I think she's that anyway. She might be. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Latoya. On the back, she heard the music and she started partying. Welcome back, Latoya. I am so excited to have you here for a second week to talk about parenting professionals.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Absolutely. Well, I took you away. Come on back. There you go. Why am I taking you away multiple times? Finger, get your life together. That production team, it needs to get it together. I'm going to take myself out of the screen, let you introduce yourself, and then we'll roll with tonight's topic.
Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here with you tonight. My name is Latoya Faustin. I am born and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina, Elon University, where Renita and I crossed paths. I am the executive director of a nonprofit called She Built This City. We focus on getting youth, women, and marginalized communities engaged in construction and the maker trades. I also have a small business called Stay Ready Consulting Solutions, focusing on collaborative, creative solutions for small businesses and nonprofits. But in my spare time, the topic of tonight's discussion, I am also the mother of a young actor. And I'm excited to share more about what we've been learning on this whirlwind of an experience, so that we can get more conversation, activity, and access, to people that look like us in the industry.
Well, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that I think that just that last piece is so much information we don't know. There's so much information we don't know. And so it's so very hard to have the access because
Yes,
we just don't even know what it is to go get it.
absolutely.
So when we got together originally, we were like, we want to talk about all these things. It was about a 70 million things that we wanted to talk about, but we had to narrow it down to four. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is the dream team. The dream team. So last week we talked about being momagers, which is a whole thing. And we could have probably gone on for 4 hours just talking about being the momager of these chaps. It takes work. It takes a lot of work and it's a lot of crazy. But it is so worth it when it's done right. But tonight we're going to talk about the dream team because it can't just be the mom.
Right.
It can't just be the mom. I promise you, as amazing as we are, and let me happy belated Mother's Day to
Mother's Day.
all the mothers out there. Yes, yes, yes. We all deserve to be celebrated. And as amazing and as phenomenal as we are, though we could do a lot of things on our own, we probably shouldn't. And talking about access and talking about knowledge is things we just would never have if we didn't bring other people in. So, Latoya, you have started to establish a dynamic dream team. Tell us about what that is and even how it came about.
Absolutely. So yes, as you were saying, I was like, I need to add some people to my list. Yes, 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 we have. So as I shared last week, my son around the age of 3 said, "Mommy, I want to be in the TV." And around 4, I began to explore. Things went really, really fast. He is now booked and on contract with 2 agents, one in the Southeast, one in LA and New York, and then a manager nationwide. And so, where did this come from? We got the local agent here in Charlotte, North Carolina, called Known Management Group, submit code on their website. Hey, we're looking for next, new talent. I took a few pictures of him, submitted it. Few months later, got a text like, "Hey, saw your picture. We're interested." From there, again, he was accepted, moved fast, did some early training and development on development. The development board is usually when you have young talent or fresh talent that hasn't been in the industry a lot. So that was agent. Now, what I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight was the difference between an agent and a manager. I did not know this. And so we booked with an agent. We got signed with an agent early. I was expecting the agent to do manager like things and was very frustrated and confused when they weren't. So, what is the difference between your agent and your manager? Your agent can book you. What does it mean to book? They can get you jobs. I like to compare it to like real estate. If you ever purchased a home or been looking for a home, there are sites you can go to and you can look at all of the dimensions that you want, for your house.
It's
You
your
can do
Zillow
that.
for acting.
Zillow, yes, you can do that. You can do that yourself. You can look. You can say, yes, I want this role. I want to submit for this. You can do that, or you can have a real estate agent and they do all that for you. And that is in my small, comparison, that is the difference between you trying to self book and having an agent. The agents, just like a real estate agent, has a little bit more industry experience. They know when they say this, you know, curb appeal, that means something wrong with the back part. Like, they know all of the industry lingo. They know they have connections. They can get you in to see the casting director quicker than a random inquiry. And so that's one difference between just you doing it yourself versus an agent. And then your manager is supposed to help guide your career. This is an industry professional. They can also potentially be a producer, so they could have work for you to do, but they help you understand about um, wardrobe and headshots and timing of things and what's right for your career right now. And so those are two different things. In most of the country, agents can, go around and do what they need to do pretty seamlessly. In California, you have to have a lawyer to book you. They're a little different out there, and so you have to have specific requirements. California also has specific trainings that they should have their managers and agents go through. So I would say outside of the LA area, and if anyone on here has more experience than me, feel free to add in, chat, correct me. We new at this. um, but yeah, no, there's certain kind of trainings that managers and agents have to go through in California in particular. There are different laws and rules in California that you have to follow. So that's just in general to book a job. You
Right.
don't need a manager to book a job. You have to have an agent to book a job. At your level. So for instance, what if I knew then what I know now, I could have been booking my son for jobs early on. Why do you ask? Because when you have an agent and a manager, each of them have a percentage of
Right.
what your child makes. So managers can be up to 15% off top, agents 10%. And so that's you're looking at 25%, of their income already gone from those two individuals. If you have a manager that's on it, it's worth it. If you don't, you do it yourself. So
Mhm.
until a certain, level of expertise and when some career changing decisions need to be made, I think that's when you would engage at that level. But if you are an active momager, curious, advocate, do your own research, there's a certain level that you can do those things on your own and save that 15% for something else for you and your family.
Some of that travel.
All that travel. All of that travel.
So I think about we probably have some families or some parents or some leaders who are on who I mean maybe in any part of a child's life or even maybe even their own life. Let's be real here. Gleaning from this information who maybe just like we are or even earlier in stages, just starting out.
Yeah.
When so I know there were some things you said you would have done differently.
Yes.
Now that you're looking back on hindsight and building your dream team, what are some things you would say to somebody to do right now if it's like okay their kid just said it I want to be in TV or said I want to be the next Simone Biles or they saw them outside playing and they realized that they hoop better than Michael Jordan and they're 8. uh, what are some of the very first things that like today you would say go out and do?
Yeah. I think you and your team have done an amazing job at this. I would say find your community, like find other parents, find teachers, in that space. Maybe it's not necessarily their job, like the agents, the managers, but someone who's been through what you have been through or what you're trying to go through, to form your network, your community, what you and your daughters are a part of, I feel is an amazing resource because you have a community that you can lean on, you can ask. That no, how do I say it? That the child's best interest is always at the forefront of those other parents.
Right.
You don't always know that, with outside of that. You would hope so, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And
Mm-hmm.
so hearing from other parents who've been down that road, I would say that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
If I could have done this differently, like I said, my son's career took off faster than we ever anticipated. I was planning on doing children's theater, like
It
over the
was a
summer.
little bit different.
So like I would have tried to ease our way into the local community first.
Mm-hmm.
Like who is here in the Charlotte area, the community theaters, the acting classes. Those are things that I was planning to introduce him to first. Just again, get our feet wet, understand what it's like, what we're looking into for him to find the joy in it. It went from him being an interest to him being a job. We missed the hobby phase of
Mm.
this. And so I would have liked to draw that out a little bit more just to gauge, you know,
Right.
less pressure on our family, less pressure on him, and then also just to gauge his joy in the work. I am grateful, knock on wood, fingers crossed. You know, so I
Mhm.
think that thus far he is still displaying the same joy that he did from, onset and asking for it. But this went super fast for us. And so I would say find your community, find easy entry access experiences that are no pressure for that child, will be my first things to do. And in
Mhm.
those communities is where you find your best connections for agents and things of that nature. Again, I did a cold search. It was COVID. I was like, agents in Charlotte. I don't know.
What's up?
And our agent is on Better Business Bureau, and so they had reviews, and so I was able to go and read and do some, soft research. It's nothing like talking to another parent, in the world.
Yeah.
That is what I missed during our process. So I would have started there. Local community, soft entry. That is where you find your best recommendations. Like who's in this work? What do they do? Go from there to then find a professional if that's what you think is best for you and your family at that next level.
Mhm. Yeah. And so we've been speaking very specifically like to this particular industry. But once again, I think that in anything that your child is going into, for us, especially now that we break into this new world, that having that sense of community and other people we can talk to
Yeah.
and scream with sometimes, like, we're losing it, has been phenomenal. But those things can cross over to anything that your child's getting into. It's great to not go at it alone. But
Yes,
and speaking about agents and managers, that type of thing. But when I think about villaging and having a true team, I know it has to be more than that.
absolutely.
I know
Absolutely. So
that.
outside of those things, I'm gonna do one more professional service and I'm gonna take it back to the family. Someone we engaged by chance because of connections from Elon. When my son had his first red carpet event, we actually got him a stylist.
Oh,
And
I
that
know
was
who that was.
something. Shout out to Mr. Baldwin Style.
Yes.
Um, and that was something that, again, grateful for our network that I was able to access, someone who's styled red carpets and has, work in magazines, to do this for my son because I wanted us to start at that level. Like I wanted to ensure that um, every time that he is in front of a camera in a public setting, then he was taken care of because that's also not my calling. Last week we talked about all the things that I did not major in. Fashion also, let's add that to the list. Know what you're good at. I'm gonna say that. I'm business. Like
Mhm.
I'm very good at business. Everything else, that's not for me. So we engaged a stylist into our community. And when I tell you Courtney and Donnell treat Thaddeus as if he were a Ralph Lauren client, like he gets a little portfolio book, he gets 5 or 6 styling choices, and this little boy chooses the
I
ones
love
that
it.
he wants. And so like I wanted him to have that experience, and we've used them another time. We'll probably use them again this summer for other experiences. So I wanted to say that that's the other professional service we engaged because that was important for me for his image, to start off.
But you know what? Now that you say that, so image, image is used. So we spoke back in March with Samantha McCoy
Yeah.
about personal branding and PR and image, and what you put out there, is important from the start. And you
Hmm.
said that every time he stepped in front of a camera, it's something about and this goes to any industry, and this includes like mom and pop shop,
Right.
what kind of images are out there, whether or not we want to love it or hate it. Social media is a thing,
Yeah.
and Google is a thing. Like I
Yes.
found out my child Googles me at school regularly and shows it to her friends. I'm like, you bet, girl, stop Googling me. Thank goodness though, I have good imagery out
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
So when you were looking for somebody to, as one of my favorite photographers always, I think her tagline is documenting your life. Big shout outs to Tony Shaw of the Shaw Photography Group. But she talks about documenting your life, and that's exactly what photography does. Um,
Yes.
when you were selecting somebody to document your son's life in that way, what did you do? How did you pick that? Because I think that's a part of the dream team too.
The photography.
Mm-hmm.
Recommendations. We started off with another college classmate. Eli, who you go to school with matters a lot.
It
Um,
does.
she's taken Kimberly Van Acker.
She's something like amazing.
She's taken all of our family's pictures, and Thaddeus is from his first photos, 8 days old to year old, and so we started with those. And then from there, by agent recommendation, we found other photographers that were used to industry standard photos. But then when he got his LA agent, there's a different style. And she was like, those are cute. That may work in Charlotte, but we need something different for LA. And then she had someone that she recommended that we went to Atlanta to get his next phase of photography. And so I think, again, it's that network and that connection, being able to see what others are doing in the space. I know that we sort of glossed over this just now, but that branding and where you are, social media, it was advised. So, okay, some other early advice I got is that he needed an Instagram page. He needed an IMDb, International Movie Database page.
He does have one.
Yes, he does. He
I
needed to
have
have both
definitely
of
seen it
those.
with my own eyeballs.
And so that was something from a manager.
Thaddeus.
You need to have those up. You have his credits up there. This is how you make that happen on social media. Steward that content. So I thinking about our village. I enlisted his auntie, his TT, to take pictures and help me with social media. And so sometimes I'm posting, sometimes she's posting. But we are the only two that have access to it, and it's a very I determined what I wanted, the kind of work he would be in. And so it would be nature based. It would be to demonstrate his intelligence. It would be like things of that nature. And so that's the kind of image and storyline that we tell for what he's doing in school, the kinds of curious questions he asks, the beautiful things he's experienced. Like that is what is on his social media. Because when agents, we went to LA, the international model and talent agent, he was in a book. Before we got there, Renita, the manager that ultimately signed him followed us before we even got to LA. They were researching, they were looking. And so I was like, oh, who this? Where this come from?
But the thing is, I think that people forget, and I love the fact that you said his page tells a story. So we have, I started my daughter's Instagram page pretty early on. Like I just got kind of wind that that's something that she needed to have. It was, sort of early in the wave of Instagram becoming really big. And so while I posted for her, it was telling a certain story and it wasn't as full as she was. And so now that we have somebody we work with, she was like, look, you better make sure XYZ goes up. Did you take a picture this week? And do you have any pictures of this child? And sometimes she just has a rough week, and I don't want to take pictures of her because she's looking rough. She looked like don't nobody love her. And but that being said, that can't go up.
Yeah,
we have certain goals and aspirations, so that can't go up. And so, like, I know people talk about social media being your highlight reel, but really, I mean, it's a part of the booking.
It needs to be. This isn't. And if you need a separate professional versus a personal, something just for family members, and that's fine, brand it differently. But if you have a public professional facing page, you have to cultivate that content.
Right. And it is a booking tool. Like you just said, people will start following this little young professional before they even meet them. And so that means that they're already making a judgment. And so let's think about this, not just in parenting professionals, but it's how we got our own lives as professionals and people who are in this world with that social media is real. If you're going to be in it, you got to be in it to win it. So make sure that whatever you're presenting in is forward facing and people can see and have access to, you do it. Like I just said, my daughter Googles me all the time, straight up. Stuff comes up in Google that I didn't even know that there are quotes that I said in Elon articles when I was a student that will come up in a Google search of me now because it's live in their database on the internet. So understand that when you say things out here, you do things out here, you have to remember whatever brand you are representing. And if you don't have somebody who is able to alter that, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Watch the photo.
No, absolutely. I was gonna say the last thing around that, Renita, is that not only is it a picture of you, it is a way to book. So like we just submitted him for a musical, and it said, and please put your Instagram link. And so if there were any clips of him dancing or anything, like that's where it should have been. Like that, they're asking now for that content. So where it used to be hard to get in front of casting directors, but they're going to your Instagram and looking. So you're being able to put the content in front of them, the edited version. I mean, it's honestly used correctly a very powerful tool. I'll give you an example. We went to LA. There was a lot of competitions. He did his monologue. He didn't give the energy he should have given for that monologue. It was late at night. He's 5. Cool. Well, the next day, I found a practice reel of that monologue that was on point. I curated it, posted it on his site, told his agent, hey, share this and tag all the agents that were at that event the other
You're a
day.
smart lady. You are a smart lady.
So who even remembers what he did in that room? It don't matter because we curated like, okay, this is what y'all are gonna see and remember of Thaddeus.
Because
And
you can
that
always
I
go
hear
back
all
to
back
this.
from another manager. So it's like you have to be able to use that for your child's advantage and know what content you need to put out there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now shifting from kind of the
Yes,
professional portions of your dream team to other dream team members that can help that professional life even be a reality.
absolutely.
Who else is on your team?
So I'm not gonna say it's a given, but family, and from nuclear to who's in your home to outside of your home, you're going to need to build that to support you as a family individually, as well as that child. I have a really good friend from another professional life. Her niece was in Blackish, the little girl on Blackish, Kim. And I remember though, when she first began to get famous, Krista Purnell, I don't know if you're out there, Krista would be the one to fly out to LA to go to auditions with her. Like, so she had been enlisted in their family's support plan to be on set because when your child is on set, an adult has to be there with them the entire time. And so thinking about with Thaddeus, me and his dad have had the conversation of if we book this, if we have to go X, Y, and Z, who is coming with us? We prefer it be family. Who are the people we trust, who can
Mm-hmm.
drive, who would Thaddeus listen to? Like, what's that short list of people who we can call if and when the case comes where we need to go and we need somebody there with us. Because right now I still work, as you all heard, full-time job. So I could physically be there, but my presence may not be there. So who can be that person? So family. That is the professional side. But then we were talking about, just before we got on, you still got a home. If you have more than one child, you still have another child that needs a fully present and active family and parent. And so my mom often accompanies us to help, even if it's her like washing the clothes. Like it's that may sound simple,
Laundry.
but so that I can be fully present elsewhere. She is supportive of us in those endeavors. Um, Moral support when things are rough. Again, my last sort of like LA thing, what we did, he had a competition that he wasn't feeling his best for, but the very next day were callbacks. So all of the agents he was going to get to see again. I reached out to his village, his godparents, his dad, his cousins, and had them all make a little, we love you, Thaddeus. You're amazing. My son's love language is words of affirmation. So I
Mm-hmm.
compiled all these little videos. And so when he woke up that day, he had messages from like 6 different people. Thaddeus, go kill it today. You're going to be amazing. We love you. We can't wait to see you when you get back. You're already a superstar to us. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
those are the ways, we utilize our village not only for like, financial support, housekeeping, regular life. Can you pick them up? Can you take them this place for us?
Mm-hmm.
But then also that village, the last part of that village is you are a regular child still. So after we do all of this and on set, I strategically plan play dates with people who don't care that he is a movie in a movie. Like we're gonna come down from this real quick and just say we're gonna go play at the spray park. Go do these things that people again who don't even know or even care that you were just on set with Loretta Devine. This is what we're gonna do right here. We're gonna
Right.
run around and
They
get
don't
dirty.
care. But what I love it, they don't care.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm. You want to go play outside?
Yes.
That I will say that is one of the most fun things that I've seen, even though, we hadn't done movies yet. We've had commercials, we've gone, do fashion weeks and things like that. But I remember one of the last things we did at the end of the year last year, my daughter did this big runway show in Florida, and it was all kinds of people there. And I said, okay, we're going to be in Orlando. We're on little legit only going to have a few hours to do this, but I think I'm going to take her to Disney World. My husband was like, let's just go for it. Just go for a few
Yeah.
hours. And to see her transform from who she was the night before
Yes.
to the park that morning, it reminded everybody, because of course people saw pictures of her and was like, oh my gosh, she
Yeah.
at that time she's only 10, and like, she
Yeah.
looks so mature. And then to see her the next day with two ponytails, like trying to turn the teapot, it was great, because it was just a reminder that, this is her over here, but don't get it twisted. She's 10.
Yeah.
And she's not a fast tail 10-year-old. Yes, she wants to wear crop tops because she thinks they're cute, but her mama says no.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear. She has some things that are croppish, but she's still 10, and she's a grounded 10, and she has levels of innocence that a 10-year-old should have,
Yeah.
even in going to do these things that I would have never dreamed of when I was
Right.
her age. And so the idea of that grounding is huge.
And it has to be intentional. That's one piece of advice I was given as well. Is I was having this conversation before I got on here. Child actor, child star doesn't always have a positive connotation. And there's lots of stories of young people who did not make it out of Hollywood, whole in mental health, emotional health. And so there's stigma associated with it. And so some of the advice I was given is like, it's really up to the parent to cultivate what that experience is like, how much you expose them to, what you protect them from. They said in the kids who are most well-rounded have their talent as just another thing on their list. Acting, Girl Scouts, dance class, like it's just
just
another
something
thing.
to do.
And if you're able to keep that in mind, that helps them to stay grounded and focused, and hopefully not become a negative statistic in the industry.
That is crazy good. That is crazy good. So you have a dream team right now. If you could add one person to that dream team, or one thing, or one entity to that dream team, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. What would I add to our dream team? I'll say what I want to say. Like I don't have the exact like title, but like I want to be full time on my son's dream team.
Mm-hmm.
So I would add the person who can make the money and work, so I can transition full time to support him.
Mm-hmm. I say, and or you would add the person who can help you find the money and guarantee that.
That's
And
it.
so that you would add yourself to the dream team,
I would add myself to the dream team
but
because I
also
go
the
ahead.
finances is in itself an entity,
Right.
to be on the dream team, so you could be full time on the dream team. That's huge.
Absolutely. Because I think I don't know if we discussed this last time, Renita, but I'd love to be able to homeschool
Yeah.
Thaddeus in this work. And I've learned along the way, both in my professional and personal life, my standards are high. And the only way to ensure that they are met is to hold people accountable for that. And so I I pity the fool who try to come up here and do this. Like it's like it just needs to be me. It just what I mean? Like because we be fighting if
Right.
you drop the ball and it impacts him. So it just need to be me.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know what? I've learned that lesson, and we've had a situation where somebody dropped the ball, and so we made the decision that for our oldest daughter, we're doing something different, and she is coming home next year. But
Yeah.
we're doing homeschool with assistance, so
Yeah.
she's doing virtual school.
Yes.
And we're going to try that out, because in order for her to achieve the dreams that she has, and even reach the potential that we see and other people see in her, we can't be confined to a traditional 7 to 3 school day.
Yeah.
She has to have flexibility. And as the little one grows, who knows, if she goes in the same trajectory, we might have 2 kids. Now,
Yeah.
I am also adding to the team somebody who can pray 24 hours a day.
Oh,
I'm gonna need somebody
yes.
to be lifting both of us up, because if nobody's seen the movie Turning Red, and I don't care how you really feel about it, I might have talked about this last night, but I have a red panda. And I am a red panda in some ways, and she is a red panda, and these pandas might arise at the same time. And so being in the house together regularly,
Mediator? Is that what you
might
said?
mind. But I've also solicited part of our village, our dream team, and people who do different amazing things.
Yeah.
Her pageant coach, her friend of ours who is a dynamic photographer, um, her voice coach who also teaches like instruments.
Yeah.
These different people to potentially be her electives. So
Yeah.
she can also, one, get out of my face for part of the day, because we're not going to like each other all the time, but then also really cultivate these different things that she has talents with. I mean, her dance teacher, doing privates,
Exactly.
um, getting all of these things in her, because now we have the time and space to do it. And now
Yeah.
she can go to her next levels
Right.
without worrying about anything else.
Exactly. There's one more person in our dream team. We're still filling out what this looks like for our schedule, but mental health support.
Mm,
That is for both of us. As you
right.
were mentioning, the referees that maybe needed in the home. But no, so put it out here. I'm not a member of the Beehive. I'm a fan of Beyonce, but not like that. But I
Right.
heard her mom do an interview that when Beyonce's career began to take off, she put both her and Solange in therapy so that they could adjust to what that would be sibling wise. And I just took a mental. I'm like, that's smart.
That is
And
really
so
cool.
early on, like last year, I began to look for play therapy for him just as an outlet because I need you to have a safe space to grow and express. And if and when the time comes, you say, I don't want to do this, but you feel like mommy or daddy is the, pressure point, you have a safe, neutral person to
Right.
express that to. So we established that early for him as well. He doesn't know that was the, reason. It's just like he can go here and he can play. That's what it is for him. But she knows we want to look out for these things. This is what I'm
Right.
asking you to, help me understand. How is he adjusting? Is this causing anxiety? Like what's going on? Because I don't ever want this to get ahead of us or this
Mhm.
become so big that we forget that we are a family first, not a
Absolutely.
business.
Absolutely.
So that would be the other member consistently a part of our dream team that his his support and my mental health coach. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what in the world going on here? Um, because you need that place to vent, and your
Absolutely.
child isn't the person you vent to, about those things. You need
Mhm.
someone outside of the relationship to help you process, make sure you're having healthy boundaries, and that you're not reliving, your dreams, that it is solid into them. And so, like, I think both are necessary. So that would be, as we're getting closer to the cutoff time, mental health support, for your family is, I think, central to success. And success not necessarily meaning an Oscar. Success meaning healthy, happy individuals after all this is said and done.
Absolutely. Well, look, if you've watched this and you don't know who your dream team is going to be yet, I need you to just rewind and sit down and take some time. And I mean, really take some time to write it down, and one, figure out who those people are and what those people do, but then also let those people know. Sometimes people are part of your dream team that they don't know they are part of your dream team, and they're going to
Yeah,
mess around and let you down because they didn't know they were part of the team.
yeah,
You've got to acknowledge those people and thank them when they are doing it. Acknowledge them, say, and let them know, but acknowledge them and say, thank you, thank you.
absolutely.
Who doesn't enjoy gratitude?
I was going to say one last thing. So maybe you're looking at this and saying, well, I literally don't have those people, in my life. One area I would say is what can you outsource, to like, is it housekeeping? Is it like, what is it, within your network? Can you trust someone else to do? Is it rides? There are, ride sharing programs that cater to women and children sometimes. And so, like, what can you safely outsource? And then begin to build that. So if you don't have a person in your life that you can trust, or you don't feel like you can trust, what can you do to be cultivating that right
Hmm.
now? who is within the network that, if I spent a little bit more time with them and their family, we did a few more play dates, I think maybe that I could trust them, begin to cultivate that, because you can't do it on your own. You're going to need that support.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, folks, I hope that you are ready. I hope you got your piece of paper. I hope that you are writing down your dream team and you are aware of them, and that you allow them to truly be the team so that you all can make it to the next level and flourish wherever you need to flourish, whatever time it is now, and to fulfill the purposes that you have now. Latoya, thank you for another week of amazing. My
Thank you.
goodness gracious. And everybody out there, I hope this has been helpful. I mean, I know it's been helpful for me, whether you are parenting a little professional or if you are just working on yourself. A dream team is needed either way. And so learn the lessons from this amazingness, learn the lessons from, ooh, I wish I had of, and do the thing. And let us know what you're doing. Throw it in the comments, even if it's later in the week. Just let us know. And if it's any questions that you have that we might be able to answer, once again, throw it in the comments. We'll constantly be looking. Know that I love you. We love you. We'll be back together, the both of us, again next week, because it'll still be May. Hey, 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 hey. And I have Latoya on the. I'm so excited. I hope you are too. And we'll see you next week, guys. Bye. Keep your leadership all the way live. Bye.